Okay, as you can probably tell, we've got everyone back at the table. But Amy, I cut you off. I want to start with you.
Yeah, I would just offer that, we have an opportunity to do things differently here in St. Louis. And do I think the people in Chesterfield are trying to be in an apartheid state? I don't think they are. But what is clear is that we as a community are not a whole community. And so it is helpful and useful if we think of ourselves in holistic terms, meaning that if students or children are not graduating, if I told you 50% of the white children in Clayton were not going to graduate from high school this year, we as a community would do something different to make sure that that did not happen.
Or if that school was deemed failing, people who had the means would move out of Clayton.
That's right. Or if those students lived in a district that was unaccredited, that the students in Clayton would have somewhere to go. And so this gives us an opportunity to really work together as a region. I mean, the world is watching us right now. And it gives us a wonderful opportunity to say, you know what, we had Ferguson happen here, and this is what we did in response to it. This is what you can do in your local town and community as well. It is our moment that we could be proud of St. Louis, but we have to be clear and strategic, not just hopeful, but clear and strategic about how we move forward. And it takes honest conversation. It takes a lot of different people at the table, but we've got to stop defending kind of why we are where we are and say, this is where we are, and this is where we'd like to go. And be brave enough to imagine a world that we really want to live in, so that we want our kids to come home after college, so that people from all over the country are flocking here because we're just so amazingly awesome. Like, that's the community we want to create. And we can do it, but we have to do it together.
So if you read this DOJ report on Ferguson, or you listened to or read articles about it and were kind of shocked, maybe you have to kind of overlay it over all of us, and we've all learned to say it's not just a Ferguson problem, but it's not just a police problem, or it's not just a municipal court problem. And if you found that report shocking, what you guys are saying here now might be shocking to folks as well in terms of the state of affairs for the St. Louis region.
Well, everything is related. Municipalities are joined at the hip to school districts. If the school district is failing, the municipality will fail. If the economy fails, the municipality will fail. So everything's related. That's why on the Ferguson Commission, we have to look at police, we have to look at courts, but beyond that, we really have to look at economics, we have to look at growth, we have to look at expansion, and we have to look at education. So everything is interconnected. I think you're correct. And so that's a great challenge for us as a region. And we have such a history, and how do we begin to chart a different direction? That's the challenge for us.
Casey, there's an easy step that we could take tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock to solve a lot of the problems. I mean, I go away on a lot of the issues I've been outspoken about if one thing happened at 9 o'clock tomorrow, and that is municipalities in St. Louis County said, we're going to take jail off the table for municipal ordinance violations. Nobody goes to jail for a speeding ticket, or having weeds that are too high, or having improper tags. I mean, even in Ferguson now, where they're making some reforms, they're still saying that if you don't come to court, we're going to issue a warrant. So that means the 70-year-old lady who has worked hard all her life, maybe is a widow, and gets a ticket because she parked in the wrong place. If she misses a court date, we're going to issue a warrant, and if she gets pulled over again, we're going to arrest her.
I think the judge tonight said he didn't know any other way to get people to come to court.
Exactly, and that's the problem. And think about it, if we take jail off the table, we can't demand that people get public defenders, because you don't get a free lawyer if you're not going to jail. But the issue for the municipalities is it's expensive to jail people. So why are they spending money? They can't be coming out ahead by locking people up for 2 or 3 days because they can't post bond on a $200 speeding ticket. How does that make any sense? So,
and then the jail time doesn't go towards your account, so to speak.
Not always. Sometimes it does. They give them time served, but a lot of times it doesn't. But then the city's got to pay to jail the person. So if we took jail off the table, let them take a judgment, turn it over to a collection agency. There's a lot of ways to do it. Have a system where you take somebody's tax refund. A lot of people get tax refunds. I would not yell and scream about that system. What we're screaming about is people are going to jail because they can't post a bond on a speeding ticket. And you could change it tomorrow morning if we took jail off the table in Ferguson and everywhere else.
I have 2 more fixes that are harder. but the cops are with them, which is very hard to accomplish. Kevin Albrand, state Fraternal Order of Police president, also a Ferguson commissioner now, he said 2 things the cops agree with the protesters on are ticket quotas. Cops don't like to be driven to write tickets. Cops would support any movement to cut ticket quotas out of their game. Secondly, cops don't care how many police departments there are. There's going to be beat working cop jobs no matter how many white shirt jobs they have. So fewer, larger, more professional police departments would be fine with the cops. I think we could get a more efficient administration of police services where police officers were paid better, which would give you better applicants, and there were fewer administrative costs associated with chiefs.
And maybe the resources to train, something we haven't even talked about tonight, are the training recommendations for the Ferguson department alone. Some people are saying could put them out of business, just the cost of the training that they're saying. We have about 30 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, I think all of this ties back to it's dollars and cents. You have police officers in this region that are making $11 an hour some places. And why are these practices in the courts still? Because it's about getting that revenue in. How do we get the money in? So the system is broken. I mean, when you have a discussion about municipal courts in the St. Louis region, what always comes up is the money and the revenue. It's not, you know, is this person getting a just verdict? And if there was any other level of court having this discussion on money, it'd be ludicrous.
Hold that.